Taeho Kim stood in the massive council chamber and tried not to show his anger. Around him, representatives from dozens of alien species sat in their special seats. Some had scales, some had crystals growing from their bodies, and some floated in tanks of water. They all looked down at him from their high platforms. He had been coming to these meetings for 5 years now. Every single time, it was the same story. "The human request is denied," said Veskrin, the Kavros chancellor. His reptilian face showed no emotion, but Taeho could hear the satisfaction in his voice. "You are too young, too primitive. Your species has only been in space for 200 years. That is nothing." Beside Taeho, Yuna Park crossed her arms. She wore her military uniform, and Taeho knew she was probably counting all the weapons in the room. That was her job. On his other side, Doyun Choi tapped his datapad, watching the economic numbers scroll past. "We have contributed more than most species here," Taeho said calmly. "Our medical technology has saved millions of lives across the galaxy. Our engineers have improved your ships. Our—" "Enough," Veskrin interrupted. He waved one clawed hand. "We have heard this before. The Council has made its decision. Humanity will remain in provisional status. Furthermore, we have new restrictions to implement." Taeho felt his stomach drop. New restrictions? A Thren representative clicked its mandibles together. "Human vessels will now be limited to 30% light speed in all Council-protected zones. This is for safety reasons." "Safety reasons?" Doyun spoke up. "Our ships have perfect safety records. Better than most species here." "Do not question the Council," Illumini said, its crystalline body chiming with each word. "Additionally, all human colonies will face new taxation. Triple the previous rate." Taeho looked around the chamber. 50 years. Humanity had been part of this council for 50 years, always as provisional members. Always promised that full membership was just around the corner. Always told to be patient, to prove themselves more, to wait just a little longer, and now this. More restrictions, more taxes, more insults. "We have followed every rule," Taeho said quietly. "We have paid every fee. We have contributed more than we have taken. And you treat us like children." "Because you are children," Veskrin said. "In galactic terms, humans are infants. Perhaps in another 1,000 years, you will be ready for real responsibility. Until then, accept your place." Yuna leaned close to Taeho. "The message came through," she whispered. "From Earth. They said proceed." Taeho nodded slowly. He reached into his pocket and felt the small data chip there. Everything was ready. Everything had been ready for months, actually. They had just been waiting for one final insult, one last proof that the Council would never see humanity as equals. This was it. Taeho stood up straighter. The chamber fell silent as he took a step forward. "Then I have an announcement," he said. His voice carried across the huge room. "Effective immediately, humanity withdraws from the Galactic Council. We revoke all treaties. We cancel all trade agreements. We end all mutual defense pacts. We are done." For a moment, nobody moved. Then the chamber exploded with noise. The Thren began clicking and chittering in their language. The Luminae chimed so loudly it hurt to hear. The Ordathi in their water tanks created waves that sloshed against the glass. Veskrin stood up from his seat, his eyes wide. "You cannot do this," he said. "You need the Council. You need our protection, our trade networks, our technology. You will come crawling back within a week." "Perhaps," Taeho said. He gathered his documents and put them in his case. "Or perhaps not. I suppose we will see." Yuna and Doyun followed him toward the exit. Behind them, the aliens were shouting questions, making demands, threatening consequences. Taeho ignored all of it. He had heard enough from these people to last a lifetime. As they walked through the corridors of the station, Doyun was smiling. Did you see their faces? I saw, Taiho said. Yuna, how long until the system starts shutting down? Already started, Yuna said, checking her datapad. The automated systems on Thren colonies just hit their license expiration. They have about 6 hours before manufacturing stops completely. The medical systems? Taiho asked. Will finish their current treatment cycles, then stop. As planned. Yuna's smile was cold. Veskrin himself uses our nanotechnology for his age treatment. He has about 6 months of doses left. They reached their shuttle. Through the windows, Taiho could see the massive station floating in space. It looked so powerful, so permanent, the center of galactic civilization. But it was built on human innovation. The Council just did not know it yet. They really have no idea, do they? Doyen asked as the shuttle launched. They think they are advanced and we are primitive. They never ask questions, Taiho said. They never wondered why human companies were so good at making cheap, reliable technology. They just bought it, used it, and assumed it was simple because we made it. They thought we were only good for basic manufacturing. Yuna pulled up more data on her screen. The Lumini communication network is going to be interesting. They have been so proud of their quantum technology. The quantum technology that human physicists designed, Doyun added, that we sold to them through shell corporations, that they rebranded and claimed as their own ancient knowledge. How long until they figure it out? Taiho asked. Days, Yuna said. Maybe a week if they are slow. But figure it out they will. And then the real chaos begins. Taiho looked back at the station one last time as they accelerated away. 50 years of insults. 50 years of being treated as lesser. 50 years of being patient while the Council took everything humanity offered and gave nothing in return. Those years were over. Send the message to all human colonies and ships, he said. Protocol 7 is now active. Cut all ties, revoke all licenses, and come home. We are done playing their game. As Earth came into view ahead of them, Taiho allowed himself a small smile. The Council had no idea what they had just lost, but they would learn soon enough. They would all learn. Hana Lee sat in her office on Earth and watched the reports come in. 48 hours had passed since humanity walked out of the Council. 48 hours since they had activated Protocol 7. The first reports were amusing. On the screens in front of her, she could see Thren technicians running around their factories in panic. The automated assembly lines had stopped. Food production machines were offline. Climate control systems were failing. The Thren were good with biology and chemistry, but their computer systems had always been terrible. That was why they had bought human AI programs. Cheap, reliable, efficient. The Thren thought they were getting basic automation software. They had no idea that 73% of their industrial base ran on human-designed code. Code that just stopped working when the licenses expired. Hana typed a few commands and pulled up another feed. This one showed a Thren engineer trying to bypass the lockouts on a water purification system. He was following the manual, doing everything right. But it would not work. The human programmers had been very clever. The systems were designed to fail in ways that looked like hardware problems, not software locks. The Thren would spend weeks trying to fix broken machines before they realized the machines were not broken at all. Her assistant, Minseo, brought her coffee. How are they doing? Badly, Hana said. They will figure it out eventually, but not fast enough. They will run out of food before they understand what happened. Do you feel bad for them? Minseo asked. Hana thought about that. No, she said finally. We offered to train their people. We wanted to share knowledge. They said our technology was too simple to bother learning. They just wanted the products, not the understanding. She switched to another screen. This one showed Kavros Prime, the homeworld of Chancellor Veskrin. Jaewon's song appeared on her communication screen. He looked tired but satisfied. The medical reports just came in, he said. Every major Kavros hospital is reporting the same thing. The human medical nanobots are starting to shut down. All of them? Hana asked. Every single one. The nanobots have a built-in timer. They were designed to be replaced every 6 months with fresh doses. No fresh doses, no more treatment. Jaewon pulled up some charts. Veskrin himself is already showing symptoms. His doctors are panicking. Hana remembered the meetings where humanity had tried to teach Kavros doctors how to manufacture the nanobots themselves. The Kavros had refused. They said human medicine was primitive, barely better than guessing. They only used it because it was cheap, not because it was good. Except it was very, very good. Better than anything the Kavros had developed in 10,000 years of civilization. They just never admitted it. What about the Lumini? Hana asked. Jaewon's smile got bigger. Oh, that is the best part. Sora has the details. Let me connect her. The screen split, and Sora Han appeared. She was on a shuttle heading away from Ordathi space. Behind her, Hana could see the blue-green colors of an ocean world. The Lumini are freaking out, Sora said happily. Their quantum communication network is degrading. Messages are getting delayed, corrupted, sometimes just disappearing. They have no idea why. Did they ever figure out where the technology came from? Hana asked. Nope. They bought it through a Pirani trading company 30 years ago. They thought it was ancient Lumini technology that had been lost and rediscovered. They never questioned it because it worked so well. Sora laughed. It was actually developed by human physicists at MIT. We sold it to them for a fortune, and they turned around and claimed they invented it. How long until it fails completely? At the current rate? 2 weeks, maybe 3. After that, the Lumini civilization basically stops. No communication means no coordination. Each crystal colony will be isolated. They will be back to the technological level they had 300 years ago. Hana filed that information away. The Lumini were proud, but they were not cruel like the Kavros. There might be room for negotiation with them. And the Ordathi? She asked Sora. Sora's expression became more serious. That is actually a problem. The ocean acidification is happening faster than we predicted. The algae we modified is dying off quickly without the supplemental nutrients. They have maybe 10 weeks, not 3 months. Can we fix it remotely? Not without their cooperation. We need to deploy fresh algae cultures, and that requires accessing their ocean seeding networks. They changed all the access codes when we left the council. Hana made a note. The Ordathi were not enemies, just followers. They had always done whatever the council told them to do. If humanity could talk to them directly, without the council interfering, they might be reasonable. Keep monitoring, Hana told Sora. If it looks like the ecosystem is going to collapse catastrophically, we will intervene. We are angry at the council, not trying to commit genocide. Understood, Sora said, and disconnected. Hana turned back to the main screens. More reports were coming in. The Galactic Trade Network was experiencing massive fraud. Without human encryption algorithms, security had dropped to almost nothing. Pirates were having a field day. The Council peacekeeping fleet had tried to respond, but half their ships could not target accurately. Their tactical systems were malfunctioning. Hana knew why. The targeting AI was human-designed. The shield harmonics were human-tuned. Even the fleet coordination software had human code buried deep in its core. Her terminal beeped. Emergency council session called. All species were attending. Hana opened a communication channel to Nari Bayek in Geneva. Did you see? I saw, Nari said. She was the Minister of Galactic Affairs, the person who had been planning this withdrawal for 3 years. They want to talk. How long should we make them wait? Let them panic for another day or 2, Hana suggested. The longer they struggle, the more they will understand what they lost. Agreed, but not too long. We do not want actual deaths if we can avoid it. Nari paused. Well, except maybe Veskrin. He has been particularly awful." Hana smiled. Nari had been insulted by Veskrin personally at least a dozen times. The old Kavros had called her a child, an idiot, and several things that did not translate well into human language. "The team is ready?" Hana asked. "Siwon is reviewing the final negotiation terms now. Yunji has the trade contracts prepared. Hanol has the technology licensing agreements. We will be ready when the time comes." "And if they refuse our terms?" Nari's expression was cold. "Then they can learn to live without us. Humanity will be fine. We have everything we need. They are the ones who built their entire civilization on our innovations. If they want it back, they pay our price." After the call ended, Hana looked at the screens again. The galaxy was falling apart. Food shortages, medical crises, communication breakdowns, economic collapse, all because humanity had simply stopped helping. The Council had thought humans were useful for basic labor, simple manufacturing, and cheap products. They never realized that humanity had quietly become the foundation of galactic civilization. Every major system, every critical technology, every essential service had human fingerprints on it. The galaxy just never noticed because they were too busy looking down on humans to see what was right in front of them. Hana pulled up one more screen. This one showed the council chamber. She could see Veskrin shouting at other representatives. His movements were slower than usual, more careful. The lack of medical treatment was already affecting him. Good, she thought. Let them feel what it is like to be helpless. Let them understand what they threw away. Her terminal beeped again. A message from Admiral Minho Jang. The defense fleet was in position around human space. Every ship was ready. Every weapon was armed, just in case the Council decided to try force instead of negotiation. Hana sent back a confirmation, then leaned back in her chair. The game had begun. The emergency council session was chaos. Nari Bayek watched it on her screen from Geneva and felt a deep satisfaction. Every species was shouting. The Thren were clicking their mandibles in distress, demanding immediate restoration of their systems. The Lumini were chiming discordantly, their usual harmony destroyed by panic. The Ordathi were creating such violent waves in their tanks that water was spilling onto the floor. Even the normally calm Pirani were chattering nervously. And in the center of it all, Chancellor Veskrin looked terrible. His scales had lost their shine. He moved carefully, like every motion caused pain. Without the human medical nanobots, his body was breaking down. Nari activated her transmission. Her face appeared on the massive screen in the council chamber. Everyone stopped talking. "Minister Bayek," Veskrin said. His voice was weaker than before. "You must restore our systems. People are dying. This is an act of war." "No," Nari said calmly. "This is an act of business. You terminated our contracts. We are simply honoring that termination." "You sabotaged our technology." "We did nothing of the sort. We sold you products with clearly defined license terms. Those licenses have now expired. The products stopped working. That is how licenses work." She pulled up a document on her screen. "Let me show you something interesting. For the past 50 years, while you treated humanity as junior members, we were documenting everything, every insult, every unfair rule, every broken promise." The document appeared on the council screens. Thousands of pages, recordings of meetings, economic data, technology transfer records. "Here is what we found," Nari continued. 82% of all FTL drive improvements in the last 30 years came from human engineers. The Galactic Trade Network security, human-designed. The Council Peacekeeping Fleet's tactical systems, human code. The Lumini communication network that you are all so proud of, human quantum physics. She let that sink in for a moment. "You called us primitive," she said. "You said we were too young, too simple. But you built your entire civilization on our innovations. You just never realized it because you bought everything through intermediaries. You never asked who the real creators were. You assumed it was your own brilliance. A Thren representative spoke up. You deceived us. You hid your capabilities. We did not hide anything. We offered to share knowledge. We wanted to teach and collaborate. You refused because you thought you were superior. You only wanted our products, not our partnership. On another screen, Nari could see Admiral Minho Jang sending her an update. The Kavros were mobilizing military forces. A battle group was heading toward the human colony on Kepler 442b. Time to show them another truth. I see the Kavros are sending warships to threaten our colonies, Nari said. That is unfortunate. Yuna, would you like to handle this? Yuna Park appeared on the screen. She was on the colony in the Defense Command Center. Happy to, she said. The council chamber's screens split to show multiple views. One showed the approaching Kavros battle group, 15 heavy cruisers, 40 destroyers, and 100 smaller ships, an overwhelming force by any standard. Another screen showed the colony's defense, 3 human frigates, just 3 small ships. Veskrin actually smiled. You see, you are nothing. Surrender now, and we will be merciful. Watch, Yuna said simply. The human ships did not fire weapons. They did not launch missiles. They just broadcast a signal. Every single Kavros ship went dark. Engines stopped. Weapons powered down. Life support switched to emergency backup. The massive fleet just drifted in space, completely helpless. What did you do? Veskrin demanded. Your ships use Council standard technology, Yuna explained. Technology that was developed using human principles, sold through various companies, and integrated into everything you build. We know every system, every frequency, every weakness. We just turned them all off. She smiled. This is your only warning. Attack human colonies again, and we will not just disable your ships. We will make sure they never work again. The Kavros ships slowly restarted their systems and retreated. The entire council chamber was silent. Nari let them think about that for a minute. Then she continued. You are probably wondering why we never revealed our capabilities before, she said. The answer is simple. We were hoping you would eventually treat us as equals. We thought if we proved our value, you would give us respect. We were wrong. She pulled up more data. For 50 years, we paid discriminatory taxes, higher rates than anyone else. For 50 years, we followed restrictions that applied to no other species. For 50 years, we contributed more than we received and said nothing because we believed in the idea of the galactic community. But you never wanted a community. You wanted servants. You wanted a young species to do your work, solve your problems, and know their place. Well, we have learned our place, and it is not under your control. A Lumini representative chimed softly. What do you want? Money? Resources? We will pay. We want what we have always wanted, Nari said. Respect, equality, a real seat at the table. But we are done asking. From now on, you will come to us. She ended the transmission. The screen went dark. Around the galaxy, the situation was getting worse. On Thren worlds, food riots had started. On Kavros Prime, hospitals were overwhelmed. The Lumini colonies were isolated, unable to communicate. The Ordathi were watching their oceans die, and the council species were starting to turn on each other. In a private chamber, Thren and Kavros representatives were arguing. The Thren had discovered that the Kavros military had known about human capabilities for years and hid the information. The Kavros accused the Thren of stealing human technology and not sharing it. The Ordathi revealed they had been secretly trading with human corporations for decades, getting much better deals than the council-approved channels. Other species were furious. The alliance that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years was fracturing. On Earth, Saiwan Park was preparing for the next phase. He was young, only 32, but he was brilliant. He had spent 5 years planning this exact scenario. "Are we ready?" Nari asked him. "Ready," Saiwan confirmed. "The Pirani have already approached us. They want a separate agreement. I think we should give it to them." "The Pirani were always ignored by the Council," Nari said. "They will be useful allies. What are you offering them?" "Technology sharing, fair terms, a real partnership. In exchange, they support us politically when we restructure the Council." Siwan smiled. "Other minor species are watching. If we treat the Pirani well, they will all want to join our side." "Do it," Nari said. "How long until the Council accepts our terms?" "Days, maybe a week. They have no choice. Every day they resist, more people die. More systems fail, more of their civilization crumbles." Siwan pulled up a timeline. "The Ordathi will break first. They are practical, not proud. They will accept our terms to save their homeworld. The Lumini will follow. They value knowledge, and we can offer them more advancement than they can achieve alone. The Thren will comply because they have to, and the Kavros will resist until the end," Nari finished. "Veskrin would rather die than admit humans are his equals." "Then we let him resist," Siwan said coldly. "Every day he refuses, more Kavros die. Eventually his own people will remove him. Better that than making him a martyr." Nari looked at the screens showing the suffering across the galaxy. Part of her felt bad. These were living beings in pain, facing starvation and death. But another part of her remembered every insult, every dismissal, every time humanity tried to help and was rejected. She remembered Veskrin calling her species children. She remembered being cut off mid-sentence in council sessions. She remembered 50 years of being treated as inferior. Sometimes, she thought, the only way to teach respect is to show the cost of disrespect. "Send the delegation," she told Saiwan. "Let us see if they are ready to listen." Crosspoint Station floated in neutral space, far from any homeworld. It was old and small, built centuries ago as a trading post. Now it hosted the most important meeting in galactic history. Saiwan Park walked into the negotiation chamber with Yunji Quan and Hanul Choi. They carried no weapons, no guards. They did not need them. Across the table sat representatives from all 4 elder species. Veskrin was there, looking worse than ever. His hands shook slightly. His breathing was labored. But he still tried to look proud and strong. Beside him sat a Thren queen, her mandibles clicking nervously. A Lumini elder glowed dimly, its light flickering. An Ordathi delegate floated in a mobile water tank, unusually still. "Thank you for coming," Siwan said. He sat down casually, like this was just another business meeting. "We came because we had no choice," Veskrin said. "State your demands so we can end this farce." "Demands?" Siwan smiled. "No, Chancellor. These are not demands. These are the terms under which humanity will consider rejoining galactic civilization. You can accept them or not. We will be fine either way." He pulled up a document on the central display. "First term, full council membership with equal voting rights, no provisional status, no restrictions, no special rules. Humanity gets the same rights as every other species." The Thren Queen clicked. "That is reasonable." Veskrin glared at her. "We should discuss." "Second term," Saiwan continued, ignoring him. "Reparations for 50 years of discriminatory taxation and unfair trade restrictions. We calculate the amount owed to be approximately 14 trillion galactic credits." 14 trillion? Veskrin exploded. "That is absurd." Yunji spoke up. "We have detailed records of every excess tax paid, every trade barrier imposed, every opportunity denied. The calculation is actually conservative. We could argue for more." "Third term," Siwan said. "All technology sharing agreements will be renegotiated. Humanity will retain full licensing control. Profit sharing will be fair and transparent. No more selling our innovations to you at cheap prices while you rebrand them as your own." The Lumini elder chimed softly. You want us to admit that your technology is superior? We want you to admit the truth, Hanil said. Our technology is not superior in all ways. The Lumini understand crystals better than we do. The Thren know biology we have never mastered. The Ordathi have ocean engineering we can learn from. We could have been partners, sharing knowledge, advancing together. Instead, you bought our products and pretended you did not need our minds. Fourth term, Siwan continued, sovereignty guarantees. Human space is inviolable. Human laws are supreme in human territory. No council interference in our internal affairs. And the fifth term, he said, looking directly at Veskrin, is that the council's structure must be reformed. The elder species will no longer have permanent veto power. Decisions will be made democratically. Veskrin stood up, moving carefully. Never. The elder species have guided the galaxy for 10,000 years. We have earned our position. You have earned nothing, Siwan said quietly. You were born into powerful civilizations and coasted on the work of your ancestors. When was the last real innovation from Kavros scientists? When did the Thren develop a new technology that was not borrowed from someone else? How long has it been since the Lumini had an original idea? You dare? Veskrin started. I dare tell you the truth, Siwan interrupted. Your civilizations are stagnant. You have stopped growing. You take from younger species and give nothing back. That ends now. The room was silent for a long moment. Then the Ordathi delegate spoke. Its voice came through a translator as bubbles and clicks. What about our oceans? Our world is dying. Will you help us if we accept these terms? Siwan looked at the Ordathi. They had never been cruel, just weak. They followed whoever was in charge. Yes, he said, we will deploy new algae cultures immediately. We will teach your scientists how to maintain them. We will help you restore the ecosystem, but it will be a partnership, not charity. You will work with us, not just receive from us. The Ordathi was quiet for a moment. Then it said, we accept. Veskrin spun to face the Ordathi. You cannot make that decision alone. The council must agree together. The council is broken, the Ordathi said. Our people are dying. I will not let pride kill them. The Lumini elder chimed. The Ordathi are correct. We have been foolish. Our communication network is collapsing. Our colonies are isolated. Every day we delay, we lose more. It dimmed its glow in a gesture of respect. We accept the human terms. We ask only that you share your quantum physics knowledge with us. We want to learn, truly learn, not just buy products. We will teach you, Hanil promised. That is what we wanted all along. The Thren Queen clicked her mandibles. My people are starving. The factories are silent. I do not have the luxury of pride. She looked at Veskrin. The Thren accept. 3 species had agreed. Only the Kavros remained. Veskrin stood alone now. He looked old and sick and angry. You are blackmailing us, he said. You are using our pain to force submission. No, Siwan said. You are facing the consequences of your choices. For 50 years you treated us badly. You could have been partners. You chose to be masters. Now you are discovering what happens when your servants leave. We will not submit to humans, Veskrin said. The Kavros would rather die. Then die, Yunji said coldly. We did not start this. You did. Every time you insulted us. Every time you dismissed our contributions. Every time you broke your promises. You created this situation. Siwan stood up. Chancellor Veskrin, every moment you refuse, more of your people suffer. Your hospitals are overwhelmed, your elders are dying, your economy is collapsing. And for what? Pride? The illusion of superiority? He walked around the table to stand in front of Veskrin. Look at me, Siwan said. Really look. I am young. I am human. I am from a species you called primitive, and I hold your civilization's future in my hands. Not because I am stronger or smarter or better, but because my people built things you need and you never bothered to learn how. That was our mistake, Veskrin admitted quietly. But submitting to you will not fix it. Submitting? Saiwan shook his head. This is not submission. This is equality. For the first time, you will have to treat us as equals. If that feels like submission to you, then you never understood what equality means. Veskrin was quiet for a long time. Then he said, If I accept, my government will remove me. The Kavros people will see it as betrayal. Perhaps, Siwan said, or perhaps they will see it as wisdom. The wisdom to accept reality instead of clinging to pride while people die. Veskrin looked at the other representatives. They had all accepted. He was alone. If I refuse, he asked. Then we make separate agreements with the Ordathi, Lumini, and Thren, Siwan said. We help them rebuild. We share technology with them. We form partnerships with them. And the Kavros decline alone until you fade into irrelevance. How long can your civilization last without medical technology? Without modern computers? Without trade? Yunji pulled up some calculations. Our analysts estimate the Kavros government will collapse in 6 months without intervention, civil war in 8 months. Complete societal breakdown in a year. Veskrin closed his eyes. When he opened them again, something had changed. The anger was gone, replaced by exhaustion. What do you want from me? He asked. Accept the terms, Siwan said. Go home. Tell your people the truth, that the universe changed while you were not paying attention, that the young species grew up, that superiority is not a birthright, it is earned every day through action and innovation. Veskrin looked at him for a long moment. Then he said quietly, The Kavros accept your terms. Siwan nodded and extended his hand. Then let us begin again, as equals this time. Veskrin looked at the hand. In Kavros culture, touching was intimate, reserved for family. But he reached out and shook it. As equals, he said. 1 year had passed since the galaxy changed. Nari Bayek stood in the Commonwealth Assembly chamber and looked around with satisfaction. It looked very different from the old council chamber. The platforms were all at the same height now. No species sat higher than another. The Pirani had seats next to the Kavros. The minor species had voices equal to the elder species. She had been elected Secretary General 3 months ago, not appointed. Elected. Every species in the Commonwealth had voted. The motion passes, she said, looking at the results. The Joint Research Station at Kepler 186 will receive funding from all member species. Construction begins next month. The representatives approved. Even the Kavros representative, a younger female named Sarek, who had replaced Veskrin, voted yes. Things were better now. Not perfect, but better. The Ordathi oceans had been saved. Human scientists had worked with Ordathi biologists to deploy new algae strains. More than that, they had taught the Ordathi how to maintain and improve the strains themselves. The Ordathi were not dependent anymore. They were partners. The Lumini communication network was better than ever. Human quantum physicists had shared their research freely, and Lumini crystal engineers had combined it with their own knowledge. The result was technology neither species could have created alone. The Lumini were now humanity's closest scientific collaborators. The Thren factories were running again, producing more than ever before. Human AI specialists had trained Thren programmers. Now the Thren understood their own systems and were improving them. Some of their recent innovations had actually surprised the humans and the Kavros. That had been complicated. After the negotiations, Veskrin had returned home. He had told his people the truth, that the Kavros were not superior by nature, that they had been coasting on past glory, that the galaxy had changed and they needed to change too. Some Kavros had listened. Many had not. There had been protests, riots, calls for Veskrin to step down. The old chancellor had faced his own people's anger with dignity. He had accepted blame. He had admitted mistakes. Then he had died. His body, too damaged by years without medical treatment, had finally failed. But before he died, he had done one important thing. He had promoted young Kavros who wanted change, scientists who wanted to learn from humans instead of competing with them, politicians who saw partnership as strength, not weakness. Sarek had been one of those young Kavros. She was smart, practical, and had no patience for false pride. Una Park sat in her office and reviewed the security report. As Commonwealth Security Director, she saw everything, including the attempted Kavros bioweapon. It had been a group of old military officers, loyal to the previous way of thinking. They had tried to develop a weapon that would kill humans specifically. They planned to release it, collapse human civilization, and then seize human technology. Una had known about it from the beginning. Human intelligence had been monitoring Kavros military networks since day one. The conspirators thought they were being secret. They thought their codes were secure. They did not know that humans had designed half the encryption systems the Kavros used. The funny part was that the bioweapon would never have worked. The research materials the conspirators had obtained were carefully faked by human intelligence. The weapon was designed to fail. It would have killed only the scientists who developed it. But Una had not revealed the plot publicly. That would have embarrassed the entire Kavros species and destroyed the fragile new partnership. Instead, she had sent the evidence to Tae-ho Kim, who was now Earth's president. Tae-ho had done something unexpected. He had invited the Kavros leadership to a private meeting. He had shown them everything, every communication, every plan, every failure. Then he had offered them a choice. They could continue with hatred and plots, becoming more isolated while the rest of the galaxy advanced without them. Or they could accept true partnership, where Kavros pride could be salvaged through legitimate achievement instead of superiority. The conspirators had been arrested by Kavros authorities, not human ones. The new Kavros government had dealt with its own problems. They had chosen partnership. It was not forgiveness. It was not forgetting. But it was moving forward. Una closed the report and marked it as archived. Some secrets needed to stay secret for everyone's good. On a research station orbiting a neutron star, Hana Lee was working late. Around her, the team was an odd mix: a Kavros engineer named Boran, a Lumini physicist named Shimmer, an Ordathi biologist named Current, and 5 human scientists. They were developing new FTL technology, not just faster engines, completely new physics that could potentially reach other galaxies. "The field calculations are not working," Boran said, frustrated. He tapped his claws on the console. "The energy requirements are too high." Hana looked at his work. "You are thinking about it wrong. You are trying to brute force the field. What if we use a resonance cascade instead?" "Resonance?" Shimmer chimed. "Like crystal harmonics?" "Exactly like that," Hana said. "Your people are experts at resonance. Can we apply those principles to quantum fields?" Shimmer glowed brighter, excited. Yes, I think so. If we treat the quantum foam like a crystal matrix," current bubbled in its tank, "and biological systems already use quantum effects for navigation. What if we mimic that?" They worked together for hours, each species contributing their unique knowledge, each perspective adding something the others had missed. Finally, the simulation ran. The numbers worked. The energy requirements dropped to achievable levels. Boran looked at the results and then at Hana. "Your approach to quantum field manipulation," he said quietly. "It is actually quite elegant." Hana smiled. Coming from a Kavros, that was high praise. "Want to see something really interesting? Let me show you what we have been working on." She pulled up new designs. These are theoretical engines that could cross between galaxies in months instead of centuries. But we cannot build them alone. We need Kavros engineering for the hull. Lumini crystals for the power systems, or Dathi biological computers for navigation, and human physics to tie it all together. A true collaboration, Current bubbled. The only kind worth doing, Hana agreed. Back on Earth, in Geneva, Nari was getting ready to end her day when an alert came through. Deep space monitoring had detected something, a signal from beyond the galaxy. Not natural, definitely artificial. She pulled up the data. The signal was complex, clearly intelligent. Another civilization. One far enough away that their signal had been traveling for thousands of years. And they were more advanced than the Commonwealth. Much more advanced. Nari immediately called an emergency session. Within hours, representatives from every species were gathered. "We have first contact," she told them. "Not with a species, with an entire civilization beyond our galaxy. They are trying to communicate." The chamber erupted in discussion, fear, excitement, wonder. "What do we do?" Sarek asked. "We respond together," Nari said firmly, "as the Commonwealth, united. We have learned what happens when species try to dominate each other. Let us show whoever is out there that we have learned to cooperate instead." The vote was unanimous. As the session ended, Nari stood with Taiho, Yuna, Siwan, and the other humans who had planned the Great Withdrawal. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Taiho asked quietly. "A year ago, we burned everything down." "We burned down something that was broken," Nari said, "and we built something better from the ashes." "The Commonwealth is not perfect," Yuna added. "There is still prejudice, still mistrust. The Kavros Old Guard still grumbles about human influence. Some Thren still resent us." "But they are talking to us now," Siwan said. "They are listening. They are learning. That is more than we ever had before." Nari looked at the stars through the viewport. Somewhere out there, another civilization waited, another challenge, another opportunity. "The galaxy did not end when we left the Council," she said. "It began to truly live. We taught them that respect is not given, it is earned. That superiority is not a birthright. That working together is stronger than trying to dominate. And now we face the universe together," Taiho said. "As equals," Nari finished. "Finally, as equals." Far above them, in the research station, Hana and her team continued their work. Human and Kavros, Lumini and Ordathi. Different species with different strengths, combining their knowledge to reach for the stars. The Commonwealth had learned its lesson the hard way. Arrogance led to blindness. Pride led to stagnation. But cooperation, real cooperation, built on mutual respect, could achieve anything. The galaxy was vast. The challenges ahead were enormous. But for the first time in its history, the Commonwealth faced them not as masters and servants, but as partners. And that made all the difference. The message to the distant civilization was composed by representatives from every species, each adding their unique perspective. When it finally launched, traveling at light speed toward whoever waited beyond the galaxy, it carried a simple truth. Humanity had been called primitive, young, insignificant. They had been dismissed and insulted and restricted, but they had never been defeated. They had simply been patient, building their strength, waiting for the right moment. And when that moment came, they had shown the galaxy something it had forgotten. That greatness is not about being the oldest or the strongest. It is about being indispensable. It is about creating value. It is about earning your place through innovation and determination. The galaxy had learned, and now, together, they would show the universe what cooperation could achieve. The age of the elder species was over. The age of the Commonwealth had begun.